Are you looking to get a business started and you want an idea of how to make that happen? Kevin Ware, your Action Business Coach. And I want to cover 4 steps to start your new business. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to dwell on some of the obvious things. You need to go get a business license. If necessary, you might have to go get the business incorporated. You need to make sure all of your legal leases and all of that are in place, whatever that is. I'm not going to cover that today. What I'm going to cover is there's 4 basic categories of things that need to be done in order to get your business started. If you understand these 4 categories and implement them well, you're much better off and probably going to have a much greater chance of success than if you don't follow these 4 categories. So let's get this thing started. So the first category we need to do to start a business is research. You're going to have to dive deep into all sorts of research to understand what's it going to take to get this business off the ground. First thing is industry research. You're going to have to dive deep into the industry. Even if you think you know it, you probably don't. So you're going to have to do a lot of online research and know the industry. Number 2, you're going to need to do a best practice study within the industry. It's one thing to know the industry. It's another thing to know what are the best practices. What are the things that work and don't work within the industry. And then the third and probably most important part of this category of research is you need to either visit and spend time in a location that is the similar business or even work for somebody who is in the business. So for example, if you're going to start a restaurant, you might work in a restaurant. If you're going to start a retail location, you need to do some in-depth investigation and spend time in a similar retail environment. If it is an electrical business, you're probably going to spend significant time in an electrical business, even as an employee, and you probably need to get licensed as an electrician anyway. So you need to have that deep level of research into the business that you're starting. So number 2 is plan. You need to have a business plan written out. Too many people get into business, have it up here, and think they can implement it. Or I've heard this before. Well, Kevin, you know some of the greatest businesses got started on the back of a napkin. You know, look at NVIDIA. Oh yeah, you know, NVIDIA basically back of the napkin sitting in a Denny's in Silicon Valley. But you have to understand that's a starting point. Any good business, even if the business plan is written on a napkin, has to go beyond just that napkin. It's going to have a lot of written out documentation of how you're going to get this business started. You're going to have to dive deep into your game plan. You're going to need to probably do a lot of deeper research on what makes a good marketing plan. One thing that you might want to consider is you may want to get help writing this plan. Too many times I've seen business plans written that really don't make any sense, and a lot of it's off the person's top of the head and nobody helped them. So you're going to need to get professional help, more than likely from somebody who knows what they're doing in business. And there are business plan writers out there. I do it also, but you need to find somebody to help you. So number 3 is fund. You need to find a way to fund your business. Now, if you think about this, there's 4 primary ways to fund your startup business. Number 1 is your own money. You may have to dip into your piggy bank. You may have to get an equity from your home to get this thing started, if that's the case. Number 2 is get family and friends to invest. I'm a little dicey on that only because do you want to really endanger relationships with friends and families if this goes south? But if they share the same vision you do and you feel safe with that and secure with that, then go for it. Number 3, outside investors. Now that's probably not going to happen unless you are developing the killer software that can scale immensely fast. And in that case, you're going to have a lot of venture capital funds, angel investors, etc. But unless you're doing some, as I said, earth-shattering software, probably not. The 4th one, which a lot of people go to, is the bank. Let's say you want to get this funded from a bank. If you're in the United States here, you may want to get a small business administration loan. More paperwork, but lower bar of entry. You're going to obviously have to present a business plan to the bank. So now here's a key on funding. You're going to need probably 2 to 3 times more cash or credit line available than you think. So in your plan, if you put in your plan that you're going to need $100,000 in startup cost, you're probably going to need about $200,000 to $250,000 available for funding because everything will cost far more than you realize. So you need to have that 2 to 3 times extra cash or line of credit that's going to get you from point A to point B. Because I can tell you right now, I've been working with businesses for 22 plus years, and what you think it's going to cost and what it actually costs every single time is going to be 2 to 3 times greater than you realize. So be prepared for that. So we've got research it, we've got plan it, we've got fund it, and the fourth one is what I call market it. Too many small business owners that want to start a business try to do this on the cheap with the kind of the hope, wish, and pray, the whole if you build it, they will come mentality. Well, that's Hollywood. That's not reality. So you need to market it. What's the marketing going to look like? You need basically 5 elements of your marketing. Number 1 is the who. Who is your target market? Who are you going to go after? You need to know that target market as crystal clear as possible. So number 2 is what do they want to buy from you? So what if you know the target market, what is it that they want to buy from you? Number 3 is why. Why would they buy it from you? What makes you totally different than anybody else in your industry that would attract them to your business? You need to know that and communicate that. Number 4 is how. How will you communicate that out? How are you going to put it out online? Are you going to do direct mail? Are you going to do television, radio commercials, all sorts of other whatever it takes to get that out there? Too many people do the how first. Well, I'm just going to throw it out there, and they don't do the who's your target market, what do they want to do, why would they buy it from you, where can you find them in the highest concentrations, and then you figure out how you're going to communicate to them. So let's go over these 4 again. These 4 categories are research it. Number 2 is plan it. Number 3 is fund it. Number 4 is market it. If you have any questions on starting a business and what are some of the things that you need to do, would love to chat with you on that. Just reach out and touch bases with me and go out there. If you are ready to start this business, make sure you do those 4 categories and go out there and be a great business success.